You know I've seen a lot of what the world can do, and it's breaking my heart in two, 'cause I never wanna see you sad, girl. Don't be a bad girl. If you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there. Welcome back to the PipeCat channel. This is Larry. I want to show you my Takamine 12-string guitar. Little story about this one. As you can probably see, it's a pretty deep-bodied guitar. And I have tendonitis very, very badly in my forearm. And I also have a condition of nerve damage under the rib cage, which makes playing a deep guitar very, very hard for me. And I ordered this thing, and it was delayed by months for all kinds of different reasons. And it finally showed up, and I was so happy. And the sound of it was so brilliant, but I had not played one before. I bought this one basically based on a lot of videos I watched, a lot of reviews that I had read about it, and it was highly recommended. And when I got it and I set it up and started playing it, I realized quickly that it was going to hurt. I decided at the last minute, let me try it again. I pulled the guitar out of the case after it had been sitting with a humidified case, and I set it up again. Didn't really have to adjust it much. It didn't move much. It did play a little bit easier after being humidified for a while, but the thickness of the body is still there, and as you can see, there's no kind of contour there. It's strictly an edge, and that hurts my arm. It still does. Most guitars do that don't have a contour there. And, of course, the back of it is biting into my rib cage. But when I heard the tone again, when I played it a little bit, I said, I'd rather suffer through playing this guitar. Honest to God. It sounds that good. Now, this is a Takamine GD30CE. It's a GD30CE-12 string. And they usually come in red. I liked it better in blue, so that's why I chose the blue one. I love the color, and I'd like to show you how it sounds. I'm going to try and do a Neil Young song for you. This is called Powderfinger. I hope I can do it some justice. If you've heard my playing before, you know that that's a stretch. Here we go. Look out, mama, there's a white boat coming up the river with a big red beacon and a flag and a man on the rail. I think you better call John, 'cause it don't look like they're here to deliver the mail, 'cause he's less than a mile away. Hope he didn't come to stay. He's got numbers on the side and a gun, and he's making big waves. told me red means run, son. Numbers add up to nothing. And when the first shots hit the dock, I saw it coming. Raised my rifle to my eye, didn't stop to wonder why. Then I saw black in my face flash in the sky. From the powder and the finger, deliver me from the thought that pulled the trigger. Think of me as one you never figured would fade away so young, with so much left undone. Remember me to my love, I will miss her. Now, you know, that was not a keeper version. It never is with me. It takes me about 100 takes to get through a song all the way without a mistake. And if I'm in a studio, that's going to mean some cut-ins. But for the sake of my channel, I just get through it. You know, I mean, it's for reference only. This is a demo for the guy who's going to sit here like I'm sitting here, you know, in his room, office, lab, you know, whatever you want to call it, living room. And give you an idea what the guitar is that you might be thinking about. And this is the Takamine GD30CE-12 string. Okay. Price on it, when I bought mine, the guitar alone was about $550, which is not bad for what this is. And I got a gator case with it, which is probably about another 120 bucks right there. And I now know to be absolutely sure to put a humidifying agent in your case if you want your 12 string to feel good when you take it out and play it, because they are not easy to play for a lot of people. So a good setup, good humidity. Don't leave your guitar out in your living room if the humidity is 20% outside or inside, or if your air conditioner is cranked in the summertime. Don't do that. Acoustics especially. A couple of tips I'll share with you, and this is stuff that I have found to be very helpful. 12-string guitars are notoriously hard to play, especially for me. You look at that hand, and guitar player is not going to come to mind. Playing these is difficult. The strings are hard to push, you know, unless you have perfect, you know, action on the guitar, which sometimes you can get. I almost kind of have on this guitar. It might be able to come down another, maybe fraction. But, you know, right now it's well enough, and I'm leaving it kind of macho height to try and get my hands acclimated to it. But anyway, one tip for making an acoustic guitar more manageable to play that I have found to be very, very true in real practice is when you're playing these and you're holding them in your hands and whatever, the natural moisture from your skin, basically, sort of envelops it, your breath, and it's happy when you're holding it. That's true. So if you're going to be playing the guitar, that's fine. You can play it for as long as you want. It's only good for it to play it. But when you are not playing your guitar, here's a big thing. The humidity in a room can get very low. And guitar wood does not like dry. It doesn't like to be dry. What I find is if you put a humidifier inside your guitar case, and they do sell a lot of different kinds, but you don't have to spend money on one of those things really. Let me show you something. A friend of mine made this, and he actually bought a bunch of little Tupperwares, and he made a bunch of these for all his guitars, his acoustics. Punched some holes in the lid, one or two holes in the bottom maybe, and just put a damp sponge or a rag or something inside there. That's as fancy as you need to be, honest to God. You don't have to have one of those special sound hole ones. I mean, yeah, they're nice, they work, but this I find just kind of fits like right up, next to the guitar, down in the body cavity of the case, which is where it matters the most. Putting it up where the head is doesn't really do that much for it, but the damage that can be done, or not damage, but the effects that dryness can have on a guitar, I'll give you one major one, or a couple. The action, of course, will change if it's not properly humidified. The natural tendency of wood is to sort of warp a little bit as it gets dry. If you look at driftwood on a beach, some of it looks like it's warped in crazy patterns. Well, it's because it's been out of the water and baked by the sun for so long, it's starting to look curly. It just, the fibers want to contract, and it can get wavy all over. Well, these fibers, although these are different pieces of wood, you've got a piece of ebony on top there, and who knows what's underneath, maple or spruce, I'm not exactly sure. But when it's not humidified, it wants to move a little bit, and it will begin to. And I'll tell you how it affected me most recently was, I noticed on one of my other guitars, acoustic guitars, that had been left out in the air, kind of leaving it on display more or less, or just keeping it close to hand because I play it a lot. I noticed that when it got really dry over the winter time here in New England, I started to feel the edges of the frets more and more. I could feel fret sprout happening. And I said, wow, it wasn't like that before, because I dressed that myself, and I took any sharp edges off that a long time ago. Why am I feeling that? Well, the same guy who made that little Tupperware thing said to me, take one of those and throw it in the case with that guitar, that affected guitar. Give it a few days and try it again, and you tell me if you don't see a difference. And he was right. I put one of those in there with a wet sponge inside it. I put it down the body, cavity. The case, in that case that guitar I'm talking about sits in, actually has a lot of airspace in it, so it really didn't matter where I put it. But after about maybe 3-4 days like that, I couldn't feel that fret sprout anymore. It actually worked. He was right. The neck had re-widened just enough to take up that fret sprout I was feeling. The other thing is, I noticed that the action on that guitar was improved a little bit. I could play it much more easily after it sat in a humidified case for a while. So this guitar here, this Takamine, I care the same about all my guitars really, but this one especially because it's brand new, and I love it, and it's very, very pretty. I don't want to see anything happen to it. I don't want to get scratched up. I don't want to stop caring about it. I don't want to start thinking about it as a piece of furniture in the room. I don't want to do that. So I actually have a different kind of humidifier in the case with this. It's actually one of those sort of space age gel ones in the long plastic tube. Another buddy of mine gave me that, and he gave me a couple of them. They work really good. There's no holes in them. The plastic works through some sort of osmosis. It's pretty interesting. Doesn't get anything wet, but keeps the air humid, just the right humidity. I keep that in the case with this guitar, and it has kept it playing good. Like I said, the depth of the body of this guitar, it's very, very deep. It's really jumbo thick. And that causes me problems, like I said, with my tendonitis and with the nerve damage in my ribs. Any guitar this thick that I go to play, it causes me pain, discomfort. So anything that makes it even the slightest bit more comfortable will take your mind off those little discomforts like that, So tricks like that actually are practical. They're not you know, they're not the idealistic approaches of some people who are just trying to sound like they know what they're talking about. It actually is true. Those tricks do work. They do help you in the real world. If you're not playing your 12 string because the action's just a little too high, or the frets are sprouting on the ends and it's unpleasant for you, try doing that. Put it in a humidified case. Leave it for like a week. Try it again. See if you see a difference. If it only makes a slight difference, well, then you may need to have somebody take a look at it and see if there's anything they can do about it. But it may actually help you to like that guitar more. And yeah, I'm not kidding. So that's all. I just wanted to add these little notes on the end of my video. And, just anything that helps the average guitar player, the average consumer, be happy with the product that they have. And to want to play it more. That's really what I'm hoping. So that's it. I just wanted to drop that little bit of wisdom off for whatever it's worth. And I want to thank you again for tuning into my channel. And, have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And I'll talk to you again soon.